Hello, everybody, and welcome to Made in New England interview series, where we talk with New England-based businesses and the people who lead them. I'm your host, Steve DeVries, and today I am joined by Osher Perry of ShipIn Systems. Osher, welcome to the show.
Steve, thank you for having me.
All right, so would you like to kick us off and tell us a little bit about you and your background and ShipIn Systems?
Sure. We're a Boston-based, bit over 5 years old company. My personal background before starting the company, I served as a naval officer for about 8 years. Then circumnavigated the world, sailed for 2 years. So spent about 10 years of my life sailing the seas. Then after business school, worked in investments, investing mostly in impact investing. And after 3 years in that capacity, moved to the entrepreneurial side, initially with a agriculture technology company, which was acquired by a Chinese conglomerate. Then joined a manufacturing tech company, worked with them for a bit. And then having spent about 10 years of my life at sea, and then about 8 years in tech companies that are serving industrial environments, felt that it might be a good time to put those two hats together and develop tech solutions for another industrial environment, one that we don't often think about, but is very substantial in our global world. And that's the maritime shipping industry. So that's a little bit about the background to what led me to develop ShipIn. About again a bit over 5 years ago is when we started. And again, thank you for having me in this podcast.
Of course. So you've literally, sounds like, been around the world at sea. You've seen a lot. You've done a lot in your career. Uh, but I think for most people, we don't think about freight, shipping, cargo. I mentioned before we started our conversation today that, most consumers in the world don't think about cargo and freight until we started hearing about it as being all backed up, during the pandemic. But maybe you could tell us a little bit more detail about what ShipIn actually does as part of that supply chain and logistics world.
Sure. So first, a word about the industry. So we are serving and developing solution to maritime shipping, to the cargo ships and the owners and managers that run them. This is an industry that is responsible, as we like to say, for only 90% of the world's trade. It carries everything that we use, we wear, we consume in any, in our day-to-day life. You mentioned the pandemic and the port congestions. When we started, it was just briefly, just a bit before the pandemic hit. And what was most interesting to see during that time is actually less of the delays and the port congestion. Is actually at that time when we went into the conversations with VC investors. They would tell us, that's all sounds very nice. We like you guys, but have no idea what maritime shipping is, right? And so a chain of events brought the supply chain into front and center of attention. And what was interesting during that time is, I took a picture of just take as an example the aviation, the global chart of where planes are, right, and shipping pre-pandemic, and then after COVID hit, no aviation, right? And for that matter, no retail, no any industry basically shut down around us. But the when you look at the traffic of cargo ships around the world, it has not changed at all, right? Even when you talk about the port congestion, at the end of the day, the 90% of the world trade includes all of the minerals we consume, the logs and the paper, the chemicals, the salt, other minerals that we use, oil, and you name it, right? And so that is what we as global society run on today. And all those, that traffic has continued. And just to give you the concept that, throughout the crises that we've seen globally in the last several years, the industry has continued, right? And the seafarers have been at sea, in the demanding conditions, delivering whatever we are, consuming and utilizing around the world. And so it really is an incredible space, incredible industry that is, from my perspective, the blood veins that connect the global communities. And so in this industry, sorry, what we do is we provide a fleet management software, fleet management tool that is based on computer vision and data analytics. But in essence, we provide a solution that helps the ship owners and ship managers run the vessels more efficiently, allows the crew to operate in a safer and more productive way. We do this through a means of computer vision detections on board, data analytics. So we have a dashboard for the captain, a dashboard for the team ashore. These are connected through patented communication. As we know, there's satellite communication gaps between the ship and the shore. So we've solved that and basically allow a platform that the owner of the ships, the manager, the crew can all sit on the same platform and collaborate as if they are, all working shoulder to shoulder. I would say that, when you think about manufacturing as an example, you take $100 million factory and you think about the plant manager, what performance management tools he or she have for their operations, right? They're on the shop floor, they have a control room, all of their productivity, efficiency, root cause analysis, unexpected downtime is monitored and provided to them. At sea, as a captain to a ship, it is not the case. You lack those tools. And basically what we have done and have been doing over the past several years is taking tools that have been successfully adopted and implemented in other industrial environments, creating IP that is specific for the maritime shipping environment, and delivering value in, again, reduction of safety incidents, increasing the productivity of the ships, and overall, greater economic returns from your assets. So I'll stop here, but that's in essence what we do.
So there was a lot in there, Osher, and I really appreciate you getting into it. So there's kind of something for everybody in what you just described. So on the biggest level, your software, your tools enable these freight companies to control costs, right? So from a business perspective, anything that we can do to control costs these days and then not have to pass those costs on to consumers is a good thing, right? So at the very root of all of this, you're helping us keep our costs of shipped goods down. So very cool. From a little bit more business minded perspective, I'm a manufacturing guy, and that's my background. So when I hear that you're utilizing tools that have been used in manufacturing, some of these AI things, but specifically designing them for these ship captains, I think that's really, really interesting and exciting stuff. And it's all coming out of this greater Boston-based business. So very cool stuff. So
Thank you.
again, you've had this really interesting career path, right? And so now you have this product, and I would urge everybody to check out your website because there's a cool video that explains what it is, and it's shipin.ai. So if you could just tell us a little bit, you've had this journey. What has driven your success up to this point, specifically with ShipIn?
I would say, that what drives success from my perspective is the being very intentional about what we do, right? About the love of what we do, right? And it makes you take hard decisions sometimes, right? Basically, things that you don't love or don't appreciate or don't enjoy doing, or have less value, you need to make a conscious decision to actually stop and choose a different path. From our perspective, as an individual, that has always led me from growing up into my professional career. And as a company, I would say it's similar, right? When it comes to understanding what are the needs of the industry and going as quickly as possible to delivering value on those. And we're in the maritime industry, so I would use a metaphor. So in a sense, having building a small company to develop solutions and then go through them, in a way, is like we see ourselves as a small commando boat that takes quick adjustments of the course to reach destination, rather than being a large organization, kind of a big freighter that takes time to adjust courses, and which is, you can say, the large corporations. And so I think that has been our core DNA and our source for success. It's that, and the people that we bring along the way to drive this entity and initiative forward.
Very cool. So I'm going to maybe go off script just a little bit here
Sure.
and ask you this. So how has your career in the maritime world uh, helped you shape ShipIn? How have you used that to shape your culture, shape your organization? What influences have you had throughout your career that you've brought into ShipIn?
Sure. So I would say it starts, maybe also ends with understanding what it means to be at sea. To be honest, it's when you are, and I'm not talking about the weekend sail around the Boston Harbor. Yes, I'm talking about crossing oceans in severe storms, carrying valuable cargo, and maybe a lot more valuable life of the people that are with you on the ship, and how disconnected you are from the rest of the world, right? And yet you have the responsibility of completing that voyage. And so when you talk about the benefits of ShipIn, yes, it provides economic value to the owners, to the customers, but at the end of the day, what I'm most proud about is the ability of, our solution is actually saving lives at sea, in the sense that it provides notifications on the safety, it improves the culture of what is happening on board. So there's a lot, and we don't have enough time to cover it, but the life at sea and that industrial environment. So we think about, I gave the comparison to a manufacturing facility, people that are sailing, that are keeping their, watch 24/7, operating cranes, welding machinery, you name it, all in this environment that is completely, again, disconnected without the support system that you would find here on land. And so the key component of what we started developing as we built ShipIn is, how do we resolve this? How do we create an experience in which the captain, the seafarer, the mechanic on board can actually connect almost seamlessly with the shore support centers and be able to communicate freely based on the real time and unbiased kind of information on both sides. So that led us, sorry, to develop the company and the solution as it is today.
Very interesting. And so from a corporate culture standpoint, right? How has that made its way into your business?
Sure. So we have, as you look at our core, even on our website, our core values, right, as an organization, you're looking about both as growth, right? We continuously aspire to grow. We talk about accountability, right? It's about how do you deliver the mission, the responsibilities that you carry, and thirdly, it's about collaboration. How do we work as a team? And so I believe that those three values, the growth, the accountability, and collaboration, are core to what our product also does within the industry. And so we strongly believe in those, and have brought them forward within our DNA as an organization, as well as into the product and what we deliver to the market.
That is absolutely phenomenal. And so I'll switch gears a little bit now.
Sure.
As you look at your industry and ShipIn in particular, what excites you most about the future?
So I would say maritime shipping maybe is the last industry to adopt the internet age. Yeah. And today, I would say it is the fastest to do so. I believe that by 2030, the expectation of ship technology market is to grow towards $280 billion, where as of last year, I think it was in the 14 billion. So it's a very significant growth and a lot of opportunities to uncover. That's from the industry perspective. From ShipIn side, I believe that when you look at any other industry around us, we have seen tech companies that have come in and have significantly and strategically changed how business is done. And they have taken those companies that were able to do so successfully have taken leadership positions and became the new front runners within those segments, within these sections that they are working within these industries. From our perspective, how we build ShipIn for strategic differentiators for the type of solution that we're bringing, which is very unique in its value and capabilities, we believe that ShipIn is today maybe the best positioned company to be that front runner, to be that company that changes how business is done, and lead the charge on what is the smart ship of the future, right? And so from that perspective, we're extremely excited about what comes ahead, and the partners and investors that have joined us in that journey.
So we have smart cars and smartphones, and now we're going to have smart ships. I love it. So a lot of exciting stuff happening in your industry, and particularly for ShipIn. But if you, again, thinking about the future, if you say had a magic wand and you could solve a particular problem either within your business or industry, what might that look like?
Hmm. That's a good question. I would say, look, the magic one, what would I do with it? I think the greatest challenge that we face, given the opportunities, is how quickly do we get to what we need to do, right? And so when I started, one of the initial investors told me, this is just so you know, it all takes longer and costs more money. And so
They're right.
he's been proven right. And so with that magic wand, I would say we would do we just kind of multiply ourselves in the sense that we could do more and just get faster to our destination.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And so again, this show made in New England, it's all about New England-based businesses and those people who lead them. So how has being, in the greater Boston area here in New England, the heart of New England, uh, affected your business, pros or cons, or both?
Sure. So, I don't know how many people know that Boston, New England area used to be a shipbuilding geography, right? It has roots in the shipping world. Even goes back to the whaling days, yes, in the Connecticut and so on. Not a lot has left from that perspective. I would say that if we started with the cons, then I would say, that as a company that is serving the maritime shipping industry, this is not a maritime shipping hub, right? In fact, the United States is not a hub for the maritime shipping, for ship owning. We do consume in the United States, I believe it's about 26% of all the world's goods is being imported into the United States, which is quite astonishing. But the ship owning companies, the ship operators don't reside here. There are small clusters in Connecticut, small clusters in Houston area and also in the West Coast. But predominantly, most of our customers and most of our work is done in Northern Europe. So you have the Hamburg area and Oslo. You have Eastern Europe, Athens, and then obviously a lot in Hong Kong and Singapore. And so I travel a lot to these destinations. On the pros, which are there's a lot of them. One is we're a global hub that we can go and get anywhere very quickly. Secondly, it is arguably we get the best access to talent around the world in terms of the development of the solutions that we require, computer vision, data analytics, right? The finances, the marketing. I don't know that there are other places that I would have liked to be in terms of our ability to develop and build the team. So we're very happy to be here. Obviously, access to capital. I believe Boston today is number 2 after Silicon Valley, even more than New York, and so that has been extremely helpful. And I would say, from a family perspective, we enjoy living here, and that's you have a happy family that enjoys being here. That's a support system. You need to know that everything is good in that, and you go to battle. And so that has been extremely helpful from our perspective, and we love living here and being here.
That seems to be a common theme among my guests, is just how great it is to live here in New England, and everything trickles down from there. So thank you for sharing all of that. So last question from me, Osher. What advice would you have for entrepreneurs, budding business leaders that want to, say, in your case, you're changing an industry, right? You are revolutionizing an industry. What kind of advice would you give to people who maybe want to try and do the same type of thing?
So I would say there are two pieces of advice that I would provide based on my personal experience. One is it's about the people that you select to join you in that journey, right? It's literally as if you're going into battle and you need to, select those people and bring those partners to the journey with you that you would want in that battle, right? Because there are a lot of different challenges that are unforeseen. And it's not just, the role of the description of that position that is needed, but it's the ability to be flexible and committed into, surpassing the challenges that you're going to face, and you will face them. So that is on an organizational level. On a personal level, what I owe a lot of, my, I say, mental health, and also where the company is today, to select a small group of like-minded entrepreneurs that I have been meeting with regularly on a weekly basis, called the support group. Every week through, rain, shine, COVID, no COVID, religiously once a week coming together and talking about our challenges in this, I would say, lonely position of being a growing company CEO with all the challenges that you're facing, whether it is investors, markets, employees, you name it. And so having that small cluster of people you can go to and speak to them and think with them about those aspects of the business and life, I think has been to me a life-saving, you know, concept, and I would highly encourage people to have that. It's been incredibly valuable for me.
Amazing advice, having a peer group that you can lean on during challenging moments and times in your business. So thank you for sharing that. Our guest is Osher Perry. His business is ShipIn Systems. Osher, you've been a great guest. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Steve, a real pleasure to share our thoughts and experiences, also why we love being in the New England area, and appreciate the time today and having me on.
All right. And thanks to everybody for watching and listening out there. We'll be back soon with another episode. Take care.